Hi guys, Verity from Ready Up here. Last weekend was the open beta for Naughty Dog's fourth instalment in the Uncharted series, A Thief's End. The beta gave players an opportunity to try out the online multiplayer mode, in particular the Team Deathmatch mode. Team Deathmatch in Uncharted 4 is a 5 vs 5 team matchup of hero and villain characters from across the series. Many classic characters have returned for some good old-fashioned fisticuffs, including Nathan himself, of course, Sully and Elena representing the good guys, and Zoran, Harry Flynn and Catherine Marlowe for the morally bankrupt. They are joined by some new characters from the upcoming instalment, but to be honest we don't know who they are yet. They all seem pretty in keeping with the characterisation of the series though. As players can choose their own character, regardless of who their teammates have also chosen, you can easily end up often with a team entirely full of Nathan Drakes or Harry Flynns wisecracking their way through the level. Not that an entire team of Nathan Drakes is a bad thing, just a little distracting. Characters can be customised with currency won within matches. Each player can be given a hat, a different skin, and most amusingly of all, a variety of personal emotes. These include fully animated character gestures of actions such as loser, kiss my ass, and selfie, in which a character can take a picture of themselves, presumably with your victim's slowly cooling corpse just in shot. You can also assign each character a class before the match starts, which can be changed after each respawn. Classes include Assault, an all-rounder run-and-gun class, Support, a medic class, with the ability to throw healing grenades, 2 heavier classes, Charger and Close Range for those who like it up close and personal, and 2 sniper-style classes, Tactical and Recon. Each class has its specific weapon, items, abilities, and a class-relevant sidekick that can be called in for support at key moments. So Recon characters can summon a sniper, who can be left in strategic locations and is pretty damn accurate against enemy players. There is also a heavily armoured Brute sidekick with a minigun, and a ninja-style Hunter sidekick, who will grab your character and hold you immobile in a death grip, heavily breathing in your ear, whilst others around you punch you to death. There is also a Saviour sidekick for support classes, however I never actually saw this one live in the field. Each class can also summon a powerful mystical force with ranged and area field effects that will strike out at all enemies nearby. The type of spell is dependent on your class, either causing damage or putting enemies into slow motion to give your team the advantage. They are expensive to use though, and as your final cash payments count towards your final score, players tended to use them sparingly. But for those of us who weren't quite as skilled as the other players, they can help us to even the score. The demo consisted of 3 levels, a jungle island, a town in Morocco, and a nighttime rooftop level, possibly also located somewhere in the Mediterranean. The levels looked great and were filled with lots of typical Uncharted climbable scenery, as well as larger chasms that needed to be crossed via a new game mechanic, the grappling hook. Timing with the grappling hook is essential, as if you mess it up you will either plummet to a messy and very shameful death, or simply just end up hanging in midair, making for a very easy target. It's a great addition to the game though, and can make for some pretty spectacular exits and entrances. It also allows you to access some parts of the level where treasure is hidden, which you can either collect to add to your overall score, or use to buy power-ups such as sidekicks and weaponry. It wouldn't be an Uncharted game without lots of loot and ancient artefacts to pillage. Acquire, for perfectly legitimate purposes. This game is no exception. There are plenty of artefacts that randomly spawn throughout the level, adding to your running cash total when collected. Special relics can also be found in-game, which allowed you to open vanity chests back in the lobby. These chests contained emotes and character customizations. If you take down a character carrying a special relic in-game, you got the opportunity to pick it up and take it for yourself too. Team Deathmatch mode was enormous fun, with lots of opportunities for teamwork and backstabbery throughout the level. In the mode we played, it was the first to 35 knockouts for the win. You spawn at random points around the level, usually nearest to your allies. Teammates are visible at all times, highlighted in blue on the map itself or on your radar. Enemies, however, are only visible when they're firing their weapon. This leads to some great opportunities for stealthy play, which if you do well means you can outflank other players quite easily. It also means that sniper classes can remain hidden until they fire, and even then it would take someone to notice their position on the radar. Taking out an enemy requires 2 efforts. At first an enemy will be downed, that is, knocked to their knees and only able to crawl about and shout for help. You will be rewarded for cash for downing an enemy, and at this point a downed enemy can attempt to crawl away for assistance in forms of revival from a nearby teammate before they bleed out. However, you can then finish an enemy for more additional knockout points by either shooting them or, more deliciously, offering them a swift melee boot to the head, which is much more satisfying. This allows for an element of teamwork, with sniper classes downing characters from afar, and assault or heavy classes attacking up close. Melee attacks are also possible, although if you both attack at exactly the same time, you and your enemy will both be downed and left crawling around like babies. This happens actually more often than you would think. There are points awarded for assisting with attacks and for reviving teammates, both of which count towards your final score and add to a focus of teamwork in the game. Daily challenges are also available, encouraging to try out different styles of play or different character classes. Completing these again will give you currency, which you could use to customise your favourite characters in the lobby. All in all, my time in the Team Deathmatch beta was enormous fun, and despite not being a huge fan of FPS or multiplayer, particularly on the PS4, I think the character and quirk of this demo has given me a real taste for it. Or maybe I just really like booting people in the face. Either way, I'll definitely be checking out both the single-player game of Uncharted 4 and hope to be getting more into the multiplayer side of things later this year when the full game is finally released.
All of these are familiar tropes that point towards everything going to hell.
Giant rats? It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell.
Play an overweight farmer who has to plant lots of fields. And
I thought it was something to do with a Jolly Green Giant or something like that, and that I'd be, it's like Farming Simulator or something along those lines. But sadly, I was misled.
It turns out we were both wrong.
Yeah.